What is going on, guys? DBG here, and today we are going to be doing a tier list in NBA 2K21 MyTEAM, and this is going to be a tier list of the best two guards in the game. So, lads, before we get on, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We upload more MyTEAM content here than anywhere else. And yeah, if you just want to learn about the mode, learn about the ins and outs, what cards are good to use, especially if you are on a budget, this is the best place for that. So anyway, now let's take a look at these cards. So these are the cards we have got. We're going to be ranking them from S tier all the way to worthless tier. So, first player, we got Iverson. I mean, he's got 99 every single stat. It's hard. Like, I get it, he's small. I can't put him above C tier, but I think C tier is probably fair. C tier is probably the fairest place to put him on this list, to be completely honest. I'm not sure I could put him anywhere else. I kind of want to put him higher, but again, because he's an invincible, but again, he's got 99 everything, so it's hard to, or he's 6 foot tall, so it's hard to put him higher. He's at 99 everything, it's hard to put him lower. You go C tier. This Anthony Edwards, D tier, he sucks. Like, again, the dude doesn't come with range. You can only really use him on next gen. He's not very good on current gen. I mean, he's all, I think saying he sucks is kind of is probably not the right way to describe him, but he is not very good. That is probably the best way to describe this guy. He is not a very good card. He's got base 80. Which again is a half decent, like, if it's a half decent release, like if you're on next gen. Not half decent, it's a good release, but I mean, I don't think it's a very good release on current. So yeah, we've got what's it called? We got him in D tier. Billy Owens B tier. Billy Owens is solid, but he's by no means spectacular. He is an all-around just solid player. His three-pointer is pretty good. He's got a bit of a lack of hot zones, and he's got like Dame base on very quick. And I know it's not a preferable release for most people. Like, I know a lot of people are not the biggest fans of Dame base, so I will say that if you're not a fan of Dame base, you're probably not gonna like this card, but at the end of the day, he's still pretty decent. 6'8" guard. Boris Diaw. Getting to A tier. Diaw's good. I don't care what anyone says about his tier. Like, he's as good as a pink diamond, except he's a point guard / two guard. It's even better position. His best position, I'm not quite sure if his best position is the point guard or the two. I will say that I'm not sure whether his best position is at the 1 or the 2. Either way, though, it doesn't really matter. He's incredible. Unbelievable release. Gallo base. Great behind the back. Curry slide. Dunks on everyone. Good height. He's really good. Bradley Beal. I mean, he's going Iverson tier. He's 6'3". He's got half blinders, which a lot of people say, oh yeah, like, you, DBG, you should be way higher than him. You love blinders players. Like, I love the badge, but like, if you've got slasher dribble style, you're 6'3", can't play the point guard. Although I will say height matters more on point guards than two guards right now. No, like, he's not very good. He is not very good, so I'm putting him into C tier right here. I don't think he's quite as bad as Anthony Edwards, but he's that tier. Brandon Roy, okay, B tier. It was really good when he came out, though. Like, I don't regret at all going for him. Like, actually, to an extent, I do. Like, if I was playing Unlimited, like I was playing Unlimited in 20, I wouldn't regret it, but I don't play 5v5, and I didn't use the guy in 3v3, so I mean, I don't regret him from a card collecting perspective, because that's what I have fun doing in my team, but I mean, like, he's not very good right now. So, I mean, by that logic, I have to regret going for John Wall, even though he's my best player for a while, but either way, Bruce Bowen. Middle of the pack. Bruce Bowen's alright on next gen. And when I say alright, I do mean alright, like, he's decent. He's going to be fine he's going to be a fine defender and a fine shooter. Not going to do much else. I got a really downgraded version of that Ray Allen. But again, he was a free card season 6. He was actually, like, as far as those cards went in season 6, he came out on a good weekend. I do have fond memories of that card because he came out the weekend of the out of position packs. So he came out the Friday, the out of position packs, and he came out also that weekend where obviously Bradley Beal and stuff. And that was the one good weekend. Well, not really one good weekend. Season 6 started off really well. That was the beginning of the end, the weekend before the Melo packs dropped. It was right before season 6 just went awful. With that game, that season went awful very quick. Buddy Hield. So he was a reward. I'm putting Buddy Hield in A tier. Buddy Hield mini mini Kobe. That's the only way I can describe him. He is mini Kobe Bryant. He's definitely not as good as Kobe. He is a mini Kobe. Same release. Really, really nice upper. His shooting's good. His player build is big in game. So, man, like, I am very, very high on this guy right here. Calbert Cheaney. I mean, it's a tough one. Because he's actually decent enough. Like, he can curry. He's got a good release. I just prefer Buddy. And I know people are going... I know one person is going to react to this with the attitude of, he's 6'4" versus 6'7". Man, at the two guy, like, it doesn't matter on next gen. Like, it literally doesn't matter. If you're running a 6'7" 2 guard or 6'4" 2 guard, it doesn't matter. Buddy's going to do more on that gen. Cheaney's going to be a little bit better on current gen. I will admit that. But again, no half range on Cheaney. 28 is a really good release, but it's not Kobe base. So for me, I'm going to say Cheaney might go up, but I think Buddy Hield is a lot better on next gen. And I think Cheaney's slightly better on current gen. So I'm going with the one that's a lot better on one gen in that situation. But yeah, again, Cheaney is very, very solid though. So it might end up being a case of Cheaney going up or Buddy Hield going down. All right, Cassius Stanley. I mean, he's 6'5" point guard. He's not very good. I used him in game. He's not very good. And he should be. Like, his overall game is all right. Like, if you look through the stats and badges of the card, like, he's actually pretty decent. It's just, I've used him in game. I didn't like him at all. Okay, so now we're going to put in the lower overall player, the lower ranked players. Okay. Trying to get, any of these guys worthless? That is a tough one. I think I've put some of these guys definitely too high tiers. Because I think the worst player on here may be Anthony Edwards. I was like, I mean, Costa's not great. Or, see, not Costa. Thanasis is not great. There's a few cards that I would say aren't great, but worthless? I mean, Lou Dort, it's not very good. It's not that much worse than Beal. I think everyone's going down a tier. We just had a really bad... screw it, you're going middle. You're going down, you're going down. You're going down. You're going down. And I have not scrolled as to what I've done. Oh, I don't know. These are all... So many of these guys are similar level. And Buddy Hield is definitely going to go off A tier. From looking at the cards we have, yeah, Buddy Hield is not in the top 15 cards here on this list. So, Buddy, you go down to B tier. I do rate Bars Diaw very highly. Chris Morris. He's not terrible. He's also not very good. He can't create for himself at all. Cheaney's better than him, in my opinion. C tier. Chris Mullen. B, maybe A. Like, you can definitely make the argument that Chris Mullen is better than Bars Diaw. But Mullen, really good shooter. He's a chicken man. We're changing the name of the tier from F tier, worthless tier to F tier, because there is no worthless cards here really. And this is where we gotta put like Lou Dort, and Anthony Edwards has gone down into F tier. Mainly because you have to badge him up. He's awful if he's not range. Like, he doesn't even come with range. This Levine maybe? Oh, he's a little bit better. He's that little bit better, but he's not much better, to be completely honest. I think he's one of the more underrated cards in the game, this Levine, especially on next gen, but he's not great. Taylor Horton Tucker, Cos or Thanasis. Yeah, I think both of them in E tier. Like, I used Thanasis today in my gameplay for the Milwaukee Bucks squad, and he really wasn't up to much. I've used him in quite a few gameplays, or like squad builders and stuff, and he just has not been up to much. I tried to use him in limited. People were telling me to use his duo with Costa, because I have a dynamic duo. It did not work out well for me. Okay. So, this Michael Jordan into D tier. Again, you can make the argument that he's better than Iverson. You can definitely make that argument. I don't think he's better. Nah, he's going up one tier. He's going C tier. He's going C tier. Emmanuel Quickly. Like, he has cooked me before. And he actually is pretty good in offense. He's just a little bit small. But I mean, he's better than Beal. I don't know. I'll keep him in D tier. Okay. Clyde Drexler. C. Clyde's decent, though. He is a chicken man on next gen. It's like the gap between all of these guards is almost nothing. Like, the gap between even, like, Taylor Horton Tucker and Bars Diaw isn't that big. It's like there's a noticeable difference. It's not that big. That's E tier versus A tier here. Tino Mobley, 6'4". I mean, is he better than Taylor Horton Tucker? I don't know. I prefer Coutinho Mobley. I can't objectively say he's better. He's still a 6'4" 2 guard, but he can shoot the ball well. There are no bad cards on this list, hence why we named it F tier. Like, D'Lo has to go into F tier. This card's unusable on next gen. He is unusable. He's got decent on current gen. He is unusable on next gen. Like, his release, it's bad on very quick. It's unusably bad on quick. Like, I've tried to use this guy when he came out. Like, I grinded for him. I grinded for all these cards. He was not good. Darius Miles. Do I want to put Miles in C or B tier? I'm gonna go. He's 6'9" with a really good release, so I'm gonna go B tier, but it's close. I don't think Darius Miles and Billy Owens there's any like it's preference between those two guys. I think Miles has just got that little bit of height advantage over like a Jordan or a Clyde. DeRozan. Is DeRozan the top 5 here? No, but it's close. I'm going to put DeRozan in A tier for now. And I'm going to move Diaw down 1. I love Diaw. I really love Bars Diaw. But. There's a but. I don't think I can put him in the same tier as DeRozan. Devin Vassell. Again, he's usable. He's usable. And it's like Devin Vassell versus Okoro. It's preference. I prefer Okoro. But like. All of these guys are good. And I hate having to put them in lower tiers. Like the gap between the... This is the video where there will be the least gap between like B and F tier. Because if someone wanted to argue to me that even guys in E tier are better than guys in B tier, it's like, it's hard. Like, this is the first one. Normally I say I'm always within 2 tiers. These tiers are all so close that like, these cards are all so close, tightly bunched together that I could be 2 tiers off where you would put a card. And normally, like, there are so many good cards that this is just like, it's just preference at this stage. It is just purely preference. But and we got Richard. Richard is better on next gen than DeRozan, but Tom is better than Richard on on current. They're the same cards. One's better on next, one's better on current. So, he might go S. Honestly, I have him over DeRozan. He might go S, even though I love that release. Dylan Brooks, C tier. He's fine. Like, he's fine. He's got base 22. If you like base 22, you're going to like the card. If you don't like base 22, you're going to hate the card. He is just another one. Like, there are 27 cards that are the exact same as him in game. He's C tier. Drazen. I'm putting Drazen in B tier. I am putting Drazen in B tier. I don't like that release. Like, he's fine. He's 6'5", so and he's undersized. Like, I cannot compare him to the Van Aardale twins. They are both so much better than Drazen. But I don't know. Drazen might go to A tier. He might go to A tier. So, now we have got Dwyane Wade. At this stage in the game, he's F tier. Maybe you can argue, yeah, he's over Levine in certain situations, but in certain situations, especially he's the worst player on this entire list on next gen. So I gotta put him in F tier. This Dwyane Wade, though. Now hear me out. Hear me out. Is he better than Tom Van Aardale? At the 2. Let me put Tom Van Aardale in, wherever Tom is. Where's T? Tracy McGrady. They both have Dwyane Wade released. They both have really good, or they both have different uppers. How much better is Tom Van Aardale than Dwyane Wade? Or say, is Dwyane Wade than Tom Van Aardale? And Tom Van Aardale's taller. But yes, Wade can play the point. But Wade's best position, in my opinion, is at the 2. Because again, I think you can get away with a 6'4" 2 guard a lot better than you can get away with a 6'4" point guard. Because you are coming up 95% of the time against a 6'8" plus point guard. And it's very rare you come up against a 6'8" 2 guard at this stage. So, yeah, I don't really know how I feel about this one. Do I want to put Wade? Like, I can't really justify for me putting Wade in S tier. And then the Van Aardale and Tom Van Aardale, who's basically the same card. I get it. Wade's got 99 everything. But they're basically the same card. In a lower tier. Wade, one of my favorite players of all time. But, oh, I don't know. Let me think about this one. Okay, Eddie Johnson. Man, there are 2 Eddie Johnsons that played in the NBA. Thankfully, this Eddie Johnson is not the other Eddie Johnson. That's all I'm going to say. But, yeah, Eddie Johnson. I mean, he's got blinders, which is a positive on one gen, negative on another. I mean, if you're on current gen, he's what you call it. If you're on current gen, he's probably D tier. If you're on next gen, he's probably B tier. So I'll put him in C tier. Eddie Jones, the same card. The same card. That's all I'm going to say is that Eddie Johnson and Eddie Jones are the same card in my team. Like, you might be say, oh no, they're different. I mean, they've got the same jump shot base, same jump shot upper. They're the same card. They're the same behind the back, I'm pretty sure. They've got all the same animations. Heck, even their first names are the same. And they have the same, like, there's only a couple of letters separating them. Like, the first 8 letters of their first name and second name are the same. For 7 letters, sorry. But, then we got Fournier. D tier, but Fournier was great when he came out. He really was great when he came out. Did not stand the test of time well, though. Did not stand the test of time, but he was great when he came out. And Gary Harris. C. Great on next gen, mediocre on current gen. C tier. Gary Trent, E tier. He's okay. 6'6", I guess. Definitely don't use him on next gen. He's okay on current gen. Jalen Rose, he's in that like tall 6'8" category, so he's got a bit of height. He's in that like Darius Miles category. If you like Trevor Ariza, you're gonna like him. They're basically, Trevor Ariza is a he's a left-handed Trevor Ariza. Speaking of Trevor Ariza, yeah, Trevor Ariza's here. They're the same card. One's just right-handed, one's left-handed. I think Jalen Rose has a couple of better dribble animations, but I mean, it doesn't make much of a difference. I'm going to get some heat for this, but I'm putting Jamal Crawford in B tier. I'm a huge fan. He's one of my favorite point guards to use in this game. He's one of my favorite scorers. Not the greatest defender, but I mean, offensively, he's spectacular. But again, it's one of those situations where if you don't like Jamal Crawford and you want to put him in D tier, I'm not going to argue. This is so, like, the gap between a Crawford and like a freaking like Coutinho Mobley is not that big. Harden. I mean, I prefer Cassius Stanley to this Harden. I'm going to put this Harden in. I'm putting this Harden in B tier. I'm putting the good Harden in B tier, the bad Harden in E tier. I hate this Harden. This Harden's alright, but man, comparing this Harden, in my opinion, to the Van Ardales, Wade, and DeRozan, nah, he's not in the comparison. Jaylen Brown, I mean, B, C. He's fine. I think that's the only way I can describe him. He's fine. Hondo. I mean, he's low B tier. But man, Hondo was a god. Hondo was a god, lads. Don't get it twisted. Hondo was one of the best. He was one of the best players in the game for a while. So, man, Hondo, B tier. Josh Smith. A tier, and he might. Man, I gotta move someone up to S. Let's just put in the no-brainer S tier players, which are Kobe's and this T-Mac. And who else? Ray's probably the best on next gen, so I gotta put Ray in there. I gotta put Ray in there because he's the best on one of the gens. But he's also not very good on current, so it's a bit of a weird. Do I put Ray down? But like, these two Kobe's are the same card basically. Tracy McGrady. I mean, I might put the T-Max. It's such a close one again. Like, if you, out of all of these cards right here, you could make an argument for any one of these guys in S tier. You could make an argument that DeRozan's better than Kobe, that Van Ardale's better than Kobe, or T-Mac. There is, like, you can make an argument for any of these guys. I'll see what I do at the end. J.O.R. High B. High B, he's good. He's very, very good in game. He's very good. This position is stacked. Juan Carlos Navarro, C. A little bit small at the point guard position and at the 2, but I mean, he still got weight on quick and like Showtime and everything. Kawhi. I mean, I don't know. He's one of the best cones in the game. But is he better than? I mean, for me, he's not. He's a tier below a DeRozan. He's a tier below a T-Mac. He's a tier below a Van Ardale. He's a tier below a Ray Allen. He's a tier below. But he's also probably a tier above some of these guys in B tier. Screw it. Pick your battles, Mick. Pick your battles, Mick. I don't particularly like the card now. I've used him. He's just, as in, like, he's very, very good in from a competitive standpoint. But I mean, he doesn't really do much on offense except catch and shoot. And not only does he not do much, he can't really do much. And he's just steady on current gen, so if you're not green and you're going to struggle. So I'll put Kawhi in A, but not the biggest fan. Kevin Porter Jr. I mean, KPJ is different. KPJ is like, he'll be probably the worst player in this A tier. But man, KPJ is different to J.R. Smith. I don't care what anyone says. There's just something about Kevin Porter Jr. He moves better, he shoots better. Even though all the animations are the same, there's just something about KPJ. He's just better. Heck, for me, even gold KPJ, or not gold, Ruby KPJ shoots better for me than this JR. Clay's C and B. And like Opal Clay would go in C tier as well. They're both just catch and shoot players, and I don't like Clay release. I'm very quick on either gen. I've used it enough times on players that I can tell you I don't like the release. So if you like Clay release, be my guest, put him higher. I don't like Clay's release. And I would take any of these guys here over Clay. And I don't care what his defensive stats say. Anytime I play against Clay, I just run by him. Clay does not play good defense. Korver. He's like a worse Trevor Ariza, Jaylen Brown, and Jalen Rose. So, yeah, Korver's going to see there. Darius Miles, you don't belong. You don't belong either, Billy Owens. Yeah, Cheney and... I'm going to put Cheney and Buddy Hield. Buddy's one of the... These are two of the lower players here. But yeah, these guys... Now we're looking a little bit better. Billy Owens does not belong with those guys. Lionel Simmons. If you're on next gen, he's B. If you're on current gen, he's like D. So let's put him in C. Man, Simmons is a beast. Malik Sealy. I'm so high on him. I'm higher on Malik. The more I use him, the more I like him. I loved him when he came out. Anytime I've just had to use... There's a bunch of situations, like in Spotlight Sims, I had to use him for like Clippers. There's a bunch of times I've had to use him for like... There's been a lot of challenges where it's like use 8 Clippers players and stuff. And my God, Malik Sealy has been cooking with that Ray Allen base. And Malik Sealy, one of the most underrated players in the game. Definitely not above B tier. Definitely one of the lower end of B tier. But like him versus Calvert Cheney's a debate. I would probably go for Sealy. Manu. In the right hands, Manu's A tier. In my hands, Manu's C tier. So I'm going to put Manu in B tier. I like Manu a lot. And it's in the right hands, he's better. Like for me, I use Crawford over Manu, and I've always used Crawford over Manu. So for that reason, I can't put Manu a tier ahead of Crawford. But most people will probably put Manu in A tier. Michael Cooper, mediocre. He's a little bit undersized. I mean, C, if you want to move him down, that's fine. Michael Jordan, B. I don't like Jordan. I'm going to say this. He doesn't belong in... Like, again, most people are going to say he belongs in B tier, but I would have him close. Like, I don't think, for me, Michael Jordan's that much different than Billy Owens, but he's definitely a tier better than the Diamond Jordan. Michael Redd. He's like slightly worse Kawhi on current gen, but he's slightly better Kawhi on next gen. But he's also objectively just worse Ray Allen on next gen, so I can't put him in the same tier as Ray Allen. So Michael Redd, you go into B tier. Mikal Bridges is B tier as well. And this B tier is really, we're really getting high in numbers. We're getting high in numbers here. We got Mikal Bridges in B tier. Mikal Bridges, that base 80, his movement, his defense. He was my starting 2 guard for so long, and he's been incredible. We have another. Are there more B tier players to come? I mean, Robert Reed's B tier as well. Preference. Personal, just preference. I love Kevin Durant based on very quick, and he's got everything. If Robert Reed was a 97 overall, people would be raving about this guy. 6'8", really good behind the back. Fantastic release, can curry slide, great defense. People would be raving about this card if he had a higher overall. Robert Reed, B tier. Do I? Oscar Robertson's... He's like... I don't know if Oscar Robertson's B or A tier. I kind of like his release. He's better than Harden. He's slightly better than Harden, but only so slightly better that I'm going to put him in B tier as well. Yeah, Big O, again, a really good player. Like, man, you can even use any... You could use these C tier players. Okay. I'm gonna drop some players here. You go down. Iverson, you're going down. Ty is probably celebrating. If I've got Devin Vassell, Okoro's going down. Clay's going down. I'm going to move... Do I move Jordan down? On this tier right here, Buddy, Cheney. I'll stick with that for now. I can't believe I started the list with Boris Dio and A tier. Now we got these guys. So then we got Pistol Pete. I mean, I gotta put Pistol Pete in B tier. He's the best. He's one of the best on next gen. He's bad on current gen. I gotta put him in B tier. This Ray. I mean, he belongs in D, but he's pretty good. He was great when he came out. I was a huge fan of this Ray. So yeah, he's going D tier, but he was great when he came out. RJ Barrett. He's B tier as well. Like, he's like Rudy. He's basically like, not even just Rudy. He's like left-handed Dr. J, but slightly worse. I mean, how many guys are we just going to be putting in this middle tier? Rudy Fernandez, I mean, you were great. You were great, man. You were so good for your time, but your time was January E tier. Sarunas Marcellinus, a little bit worse than like a James Harden. Just, I'll put him in. Hondo's going down. Sarunas is better than Hondo, in my opinion. So Hondo, Hondo in C tier. I feel bad putting Hondo down there, but I think that's where he belongs. Scotty's both in C. Moncrief, I mean, he's 6'3" point guard D. Moncrief's alright though. He's underrated. A lot of people don't give Moncrief's credit he deserves. Okay, Steven Jackson. I mean, he's B. With these cards, the way they are, he's B tier. He is B tier the way these cards are. And then I think we're gonna put one more in B tier, and it's gonna be Vince. And then we're gonna put in my wild card. There's always one wild card where I just put a card that I really, really like in a position that most people would think is too high, and that's Tyreke Evans in A tier. Does Tyreke Evans suck on current gen? Yes. Is Tyreke Evans a god on next gen? Yes. So for me, Tyreke Evans is going into A tier. And then Vince Carter. Again, Vince will be very, very close to going up. I really like that release. I didn't get him. I used him a few times on both gens. He's chicken man on both gens. 6'6". Screw it. Vince, you're going A tier as well. You're going A tier. Definitely a better low 40 than JR. Steve Smith, I mean, 22 Curry sliding. He's like worse Jimmy Butler. He's like, actually, no, he's better. He's like worse Dark Matter Jimmy. He's like better. He's also better Opal Jimmy. So, I mean, B. He's kind of underrated, but he's also bad value for 750 tokens. Tracy McGrady's C. They're the same card. The only difference between Tracy McGrady, these two cards, is that one of them has blinders and one doesn't. Oladipo. He's a little bit taller, 6'4", so I'll give him C tier. These last three guys. Wally Zerbiak. Screw it. Wally Zerbiak's better than Steve Smith. Steve Smith, you go down. Wally Zerbiak, you take up the last spot in B tier. Steve Smith's gone down. These like the Levines. C tier and C tier. Like one high C tier, one low C tier, I guess. Maybe you could argue with Zach LaVine in the higher tier, but still. This has been the tier list that I can guarantee you will be received the worst. Because in my opinion, if you are using Tracy, or if you're using, say, this Kobe right here in game, and you are using Zach LaVine, for example, and you're not you're not out there like baiting lanes and everything, and you're at the same skill level on offense, you will not notice much of a difference. Like, yeah, I think the gap between C tier and D tier is bigger than the gap between some cards in C tier and S tier. Like, yes, some cards in C tier aren't low, but high C tier versus, yeah, B tier versus S tier, you can make a legitimate argument if you just, based on preference, that cards that I have in B tier are better than these guys in S tier, if you prefer the releases and the animations of them. And vice versa. You can make the argument that they're all better than this tier. If I were going to push up players, I would probably push up the Van Aerdales. That's who I would push up, the Van Aerdales and Josh Smith. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to push up the Van Aerdales and Josh Smith, and I'm going to stick with this as the tier list. Then I'm going to add a few more players in the A tier. I'm just going to think who's my favorite player, not even who's the best player. I mean, do I give Invincible Harden the nod? I'm going to give Showtime Steven Jackson. He's the best out of these. And I don't know whether to put in Drazen, Invincible Harden, or Invincible Big O. I prefer Invincible Big O to Harden, but it's a very close one, and I think most people prefer Harden. I'll give Harden the nod, and then Of these guys down here, my favorite is Mikal Bridges, but I'm not going to move him up. Screw it, I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. This is my tier list. You can definitely argue a lot of these players because I think they're so close. So if you want to say in the comments that one player deserves to be in a different position, I'm not going to argue with you. It's your list, and I've said it throughout it that these are all so close. So now that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.